Have you ever felt the weight of solitude, the silence that echoes too loudly when no one else is around? Today, I invite you to shift your perspective on being alone from seeing it as an emptiness to embracing it as an opportunity for empowerment. First, understand the power of solitude. In the quiet moments, you meet your truest self. It's in those times of reflection that clarity emerges, showing you who you are without the influence of others. Solitude is not a void, it's a canvas for self-discovery. Second, let's talk about self-reliance. The greatest relationships you'll ever have start with yourself. When you learn to be your own source of joy, you liberate yourself from depending on others to validate your worth. This isn't about shutting people out, it's about knowing that your value remains intact, regardless of who comes or goes. Now think about those dreams and hobbies you've set aside. Rediscover your passions in the quiet. Solitude grants you the time to explore, to create, to reignite the spark within you. It's your chance to write that story, paint that picture, or learn that skill you've always dreamed of. But let's not ignore the emotional side of being alone. Building emotional strength requires sitting with your feelings. It's in solitude that you learn to process and release emotions rather than suppressing them. This is where resilience takes root. Then there's the noise, the endless chatter of expectations, comparisons, and judgments. Solitude offers you a gift, the chance to silence external distractions and reconnect with your inner voice. What does your heart say when the world isn't shouting over it? I encourage you to transform loneliness into strength. Yes, loneliness is real, and it's challenging. But loneliness doesn't define you, it's a temporary state. When you embrace it as an opportunity to grow, you'll find that being alone becomes a powerful act of self-love. Being alone doesn't mean you're incomplete. It means you're choosing to stand strong in your own presence. And from that place of strength, you can build a life that's rich, fulfilling, and authentically yours. Have you ever paused to consider the immense potential hidden within the quiet moments of solitude? In a world that often equates constant activity and connection with success and fulfillment, it's easy to overlook the profound value of being alone. But solitude, when embraced, is not an empty space. It's a fertile ground for self-discovery, growth, and personal transformation. When we're alone, we step away from the noise of the world, the constant demands, the expectations of others, and the endless stream of information. It is in this quiet that we can finally hear the whispers of our inner voice. Have you ever noticed how difficult it is to truly know yourself when you're surrounded by external influences? Friends, family, colleagues, social media, everyone has an opinion, a narrative, or an expectation of who you should be. In solitude, those voices fade, leaving space for the most important voice of all, your own. Solitude allows you to reflect on your experiences, decisions, and values without interference. It gives you the clarity to see yourself not as others perceive you, but as you truly are. Think of it as holding up a mirror, but instead of focusing on your physical reflection, you're examining your inner self, your thoughts, fears, dreams, and aspirations. This self-awareness is the foundation for personal growth. It's only when you understand who you are and what you need that you can begin to create the life you truly desire. But solitude isn't just about reflection, it's also about recalibration. In our fast-paced lives, we're often so focused on what's next that we lose sight of what's now. We chase achievements, relationships, and possessions, believing they'll bring us happiness, but the truth is, fulfillment begins within. When you spend time alone, you can reconnect with your core values and passions. You begin to ask yourself meaningful questions: what truly matters to me? Am I living a life that aligns with my values? What changes can I make to feel more at peace with myself? These moments of introspection are not a luxury, they are a necessity. Solitude also provides a space for creativity and innovation. Some of the greatest ideas in history were born out of quiet contemplation. When the distractions of the world fall away, your mind is free to wander, explore, and dream. Have you ever had an epiphany in the shower, while walking alone, or during a quiet evening at home? That's the magic of solitude at work. It's in these moments that your subconscious mind has the freedom to connect the dots and present you with insights you might have missed in the hustle of everyday life. Furthermore, solitude teaches you to be comfortable in your own company, and this is a powerful form of self-empowerment. When you learn to enjoy being alone, you realize that your happiness doesn't depend on external factors or other people. This doesn't mean isolating yourself or rejecting relationships. Rather, it means developing a sense of inner peace and contentment that remains steady regardless of your external circumstances. It's about becoming your own anchor, your own source of strength. Of course, embracing solitude isn't always easy. Many of us fear being alone because it forces us to confront thoughts and feelings we'd rather avoid. But it's important to remember that growth often comes from discomfort. When you sit with those uncomfortable feelings, loneliness, sadness, doubt, you begin to understand them, process them, and ultimately move beyond them. Solitude becomes a form of emotional healing, a time to mend the wounds that are often overlooked in the busyness of life. In the stillness of solitude, there's also a profound sense of freedom. You're not performing, pleasing, or proving anything to anyone. You're simply being. This is where authenticity flourishes. It's where you can explore your true desires, not the ones shaped by societal expectations or peer pressure. When you emerge from solitude, you bring with you a clear sense of purpose and duress. Solitude isn't something to fear or avoid, it's something to embrace. It's a gift we give ourselves, a chance to step away from the chaos, tune into our inner selves, and rediscover what it means to be fully, authentically alive. So the next time you find yourself alone, don't rush to fill the silence. Instead, sit with it, explore it, and allow it to guide you toward the best version of yourself. Imagine for a moment the immense power of being able to rely on yourself for happiness and fulfillment. In a society where we often look outward for validation and approval, the ability to cultivate self-reliance stands as one of the most empowering qualities you can develop. To rely on oneself is not about isolation or shutting others out. It is about recognizing that true contentment and stability come from within. When you learn to be self-reliant, you become the author of your happiness. Think about how much of our emotional energy is tied to the actions, opinions, and presence of others. We wait for a friend to respond to our messages, a partner to reassure us, or colleagues to acknowledge our efforts. While connections with others are important, depending solely on external sources for happiness creates instability. People are human, they have their own lives, their own struggles, and their own priorities. What happens to your sense of self when they aren't there to provide the reassurance you've grown to depend on? Self-reliance begins with the understanding that you are enough. This simple yet profound realization shifts the way you approach life. You stop looking for others to complete you and instead focus on completing yourself. You become your own source of encouragement, your own cheerleader, and your own guide. It's about trusting that you have the strength and wisdom to handle whatever life throws your way. Building self-reliance requires self-awareness. You need to understand your strengths, acknowledge your weaknesses, and identify the areas where you may have been overly dependent on others. This doesn't mean you can't seek advice or support. It means you recognize the value of your own judgment and learn to trust your instincts. You become someone who can stand tall in the face of challenges, knowing that your foundation is built on your own efforts, not someone else's support. When you rely on yourself, you take ownership of your life. There's no room for blame or excuses because you understand that you hold the power to change your circumstances. This level of accountability is liberating. You no longer feel at the mercy of external forces because you've taken control of your own narrative. For example, if a relationship ends or a job doesn't work out, instead of feeling lost or defeated, you recognize these moments as opportunities to grow and recalibrate. Self-reliance also fosters resilience. Life is unpredictable, and even the most dependable people in your life cannot always be there for you. By learning to depend on yourself, you build the emotional strength to navigate these moments with grace. You learn to weather storms without falling apart because you know that no matter what happens, you have the inner resources to keep moving forward. This resilience becomes a source of quiet confidence, a sense of knowing that you can handle whatever comes your way. Another powerful aspect of self-reliance is the freedom it brings. When you stop depending on others to make you happy or validate your worth, You are free to pursue your goals and dreams without hesitation. You don't wait for permission or approval because you understand that your life is yours to shape. This freedom is not about being defiant or refusing help. It's about recognizing that your happiness is your responsibility and taking action to create it. It's important to acknowledge that self-reliance doesn't mean rejecting relationships or becoming completely self-sufficient in every aspect of life. We are social beings, and connections with others enrich our lives in countless ways. However, the healthiest relationships are those where both individuals bring a sense of wholeness to the table. When you are self-reliant, you approach relationships from a place of strength rather than neediness. You're not looking for someone to complete you, you're looking for someone to complement the completeness you already possess. Cultivating self-reliance is a journey, not a destination. It requires practice, patience, and a willingness to face discomfort. There will be moments when you doubt yourself or feel the urge to lean too heavily on others. That's okay. The key is to keep returning to the truth that you are your own source of strength and stability. Over time, you'll find that the more you rely on yourself, the more capable and confident you become. Self-reliance is not about walking through life alone, it's about walking through life empowered. When you learn to trust yourself, depend on your own capabilities, and create happiness from within, you unlock a level of freedom and resilience that no one can take away from you. So start today. Build a relationship with yourself that is grounded in trust, love, and respect. Because at the end of the day, you are your most reliable companion, and that is a powerful thing. The ability to enjoy your own company is not just a skill, it's a profound form of self-love and empowerment. In today's world, where connectivity is constant and distractions are endless, many people fear being alone, mistaking it for loneliness. However, there is a vast difference between the two. Being alone is a physical state, while loneliness is an emotional one. Learning to appreciate and cherish your solitude is a gift you give yourself, a gift that opens the door to personal growth, inner peace, and boundless creativity. When you learn to enjoy your own company, you begin to see solitude as an opportunity rather than a punishment. Think about it, how often do we allow ourselves to simply be? Without the noise of conversations, notifications, or external demands, being alone creates a space for you to reconnect with yourself. It's in these moments of quiet that you can hear your thoughts clearly, reflect on your experiences, and explore your passions. You get to ask yourself, what do I want? What makes me happy? And truly listen for the answers. Enjoying your own company is also an act of self-respect. It shows that you value your time, your thoughts, and your presence. When you're comfortable being alone, you stop seeking validation from others and start validating yourself. You realize that you don't need someone else's approval to feel worthy or someone else's presence to feel complete. This doesn't mean you don't value relationships. It means you understand that your happiness is not dependent on them. You carry a sense of wholeness that makes you stronger and more independent. Spending time alone allows you to explore your interests and passions without compromise. When you're with others, decisions often involve negotiation, where to go, what to do, what to watch. But when you're alone, the choice is entirely yours. You can read a book that inspires you, take a walk in nature, experiment with a hobby, or simply sit in silence and daydream. These moments are not only enjoyable, but also essential for understanding what truly brings you joy. They help you reconnect with your authentic self, free from external influences. One of the most transformative aspects of enjoying your own company is the way it fosters self-confidence. When you learn to be comfortable alone, you develop a trust in your ability to handle life's challenges independently. You don't rely on others to distract you from your problems or provide you with constant reassurance. Instead, you turn inward and find the strength and wisdom you need within yourself. This confidence radiates outward, affecting every area of your life, from your relationships to your career to the way you carry yourself in the world. There's also an undeniable sense of freedom that comes with enjoying your own company. When you're at peace with being alone, you're no longer afraid of solitude. This means you're free to make choices that align with your values and desires, even if they require walking a path that others may not understand or join you on. You stop fearing rejection or isolation because you know that you are enough. This freedom allows you to live authentically and unapologetically. It's important to acknowledge that learning to enjoy your own company can be challenging, especially if you've spent much of your life surrounded by people or relying on their presence to feel secure. At first, the silence can feel uncomfortable, and the lack of distractions may force you to confront thoughts and feelings you've been avoiding. But this discomfort is where growth happens. The more time you spend alone, the more you'll begin to appreciate the peace, clarity, and empowerment it brings. To enjoy your own company is to build a deep, loving relationship with yourself. You become your own best friend, your own source of comfort, and your own inspiration. You learn to laugh at your own jokes, celebrate your own victories, and soothe your own sorrows. This self-reliance doesn't mean you don't need or value others. It means that you bring your best self to your relationships because you're not looking for someone else to fill a void. Instead, you're offering them the gift of your completeness. The journey to enjoying your own company is one of the most rewarding paths you can take. It's a journey that leads to self-discovery, inner peace, and unshakable confidence. So the next time you find yourself alone, resist the urge to fill the silence with noise or distractions. Instead, sit with yourself. Explore your thoughts, indulge in your passions, and savor the beauty of your own presence. Because when you learn to enjoy your own company, you unlock a source of happiness that no one can ever take away from you. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, there is often little time to pause, reflect, and explore the depths of who we are. Yet it is within moments of solitude that we find an unparalleled opportunity to embark on a journey of self-discovery and growth. When you spend time alone, you give yourself the gift of clarity, a chance to understand your values, beliefs, and aspirations. It is a transformative process, one that allows you to uncover the essence of who you truly are and to align your actions with your most authentic self. Solitude offers a rare chance to tune out the external noise and tune into your inner world. In a world where we are constantly bombarded by opinions, expectations, and influences, it can be easy to lose sight of what we truly want and value. Spending time alone creates a space where you can step away from these distractions and ask yourself meaningful questions. What are my dreams? What do I stand for? What brings me joy? These moments of introspection are not just about finding answers, they are about fostering a deeper connection with yourself. When you engage in self-reflection, you begin to notice patterns in your behavior and thought processes. Perhaps you realize that you've been pursuing goals that don't truly resonate with you, or that you've been allowing fear to hold you back from taking risks. These insights are invaluable because they empower you to make conscious choices about how you want to live your life. Self-awareness is the foundation of personal growth, and it starts with the courage to sit with yourself and examine your inner world. Solitude also provides the perfect environment for setting goals and envisioning your future. When you're alone, free from the opinions and judgments of others, you can dream boldly and authentically. You can visualize the life you want to create and map out the steps needed to achieve it. This process is deeply empowering because it reinforces the idea that you are in control of your destiny. You're not chasing someone else's vision of success, you're creating your own path, one that is uniquely yours. In addition to self-discovery, spending time alone nurtures creativity and problem solving. When your mind is not preoccupied with conversations or external stimuli, it has the freedom to wander and explore new ideas. This is why many of history's greatest thinkers, artists, and innovators have credited solitude as a source of inspiration. Whether you're brainstorming solutions to a challenge or dreaming up your next big project, alone time can ignite your nature imagine in ways in ways that group settings often cannot. So these are trying. Moreover, solitude allows you to confront and process your emotions. In our busy lives, it's easy to suppress feelings or distract ourselves from difficult experiences. But when you're alone, there's no escape from what you're truly feeling. This may sound daunting, but it's a necessary part of emotional growth. By sitting with your emotions, you learn to understand and manage them rather than running from them. You build emotional resilience and develop a sense of inner peace that comes from facing your fears and uncertainties head on. Another significant aspect of solitude is the opportunity to cultivate gratitude and mindfulness. When you're alone, you have the time and space to appreciate the small blessings in your life, the warmth of sunlight streaming through a window, the sound of your favorite music, or the satisfaction of a quiet cup of coffee. These moments of mindfulness not only enhance your well-being, but also deepen your connection to the present moment. They remind you that joy can be found in simplicity and that life's beauty often lies in the details. Learning to spend time alone is not always easy. It requires patience and a willingness to confront parts of yourself that you may have ignored or avoided. But it is through this process that you grow stronger, wiser, and more confident. You begin to see solitude not as something to fear, but as a sacred space for self-renewal and exploration. Spending time alone is not about isolating yourself from the world. It's about coming back to yourself. It's about discovering who you are beneath the layers of roles, expectations, and distractions. It's about recognizing your own strength, your own dreams, and your own worth. When you embrace solitude as an opportunity for self-discovery, you empower yourself to live authentically, purposefully, and joyfully. So take the time to be alone, not to escape from the world, but to reconnect with the incredible person you are.